A thrilling foot. What'd you say, 9 came alive late?
9 came alive.
9 had trouble early on in this game, a couple early picks, but he field and hits Jordan Addison after the PAT. It's a 1-point lead, but along and climbing the NFC. Back in studio with the fellas to parse some of what we saw, and it felt like 2 completely different football games. The first 3 quarters where Chicago largely dominated but didn't finish a number of drives, and then there was the 4th quarter where you give up a short field on a punt return, you offer an opportunity, J.J. McCarthy takes it. Mac, I want to know where you're at right now. Let's start on the Bears side of things, because it continues to be these heart-pounding type finishes that they survive once again.
I mean, this matchup reminded me a lot of the first matchup with Minnesota and Chicago, where J.J. McCarthy was a bit stagnant for 3 quarters. Then something happened in the 4th quarter where he was able to come up and show up for them to win that ball game. And he was almost straddling the fence of the same timeline. But to your point, Chicago had the necessary plays that were needed to be made to be able to win this ball game. And this was a game for Chicago. When you look at the flow of the game, the way you dominated for 3 quarters, you could not afford to lose this ball game. When you look at what's going on in your division, the NFC North, you cannot play around with your food, because I believe 3 teams could easily get into the playoffs. And if you're the Chicago Bears, currently being, at 6-3, you want to find a way to get into the playoffs. That's a playoff caliber season. And winning and beating a team where the quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, it felt like he was throwing the football with his eyes closed. He wasn't seeing the football field extremely well. They were very, very opportunistic and forcing turnovers against J.J. McCarthy. And to your point, man, they just made the necessary plays Chicago needed to make to win this ball game.
Don't cheat my Bears win. 7-3 now and climbing.
Before today.
Prior to this match.
Yeah, before.
You know, we're getting back into the fold, me and you, Mac. But I want to go in further on something that you said there, Mac. J.J. McCarthy, it seems like a split personality right now. There was J.J. and then there was 9, as you said, that came up late in this one. Where are you at? Because it looks like 2 different football players right now.
Yeah, it's very simple. J.J. has to be better. He has to be better, especially in the first half, missing these last 6-7 games. He has to start the game off better and get in a better rhythm to get him going. Yeah,
because we see what he is when he is in rhythm. Some of those timing throws to the outside late in this game that got the lead back for Minnesota. It does not hold as a long kick return and then a couple handoffs. I think it does still go down as a 5th game-winning drive for Caleb Williams.
It does.
A 5th come from behind drive in the 4th quarter. What do you make of the Chicago offense? Because it feels like they're on the edge of breaking through, for lack of a better term. From a yardage standpoint, they're short of their season average, but they are finding themselves around the top of the NFL right now. What's going to take them to that next level?
Probably not playing Brian Flores defenses, right? So we do have to be fair to the Chicago Bears, where this became, can you make a field goal there in the final probably 3 quarters of this game for them. You know, Brian Flores knows Ben Johnson quite well, knows this Chicago Bears team, and knows the kind of pressure points. So it's okay that their numbers weren't great today. You want to see them on the ground be a lot better. And look, they got, I think, the Pittsburgh Steelers coming up next. And then, look, this is a tough slate. It's the Steelers, and then it's at the Eagles, it's at the Packers. Then they have the Cleveland Browns defense. Again, so while we can sit here and say, oh, the Bears against Brian Flores' defense, it's not getting much easier. And so while they are figuring out ways to win, and Joe, you and I have talked about it for many weeks, credit the Chicago Bears for figuring out ways to win. Also, don't make it so difficult on yourself to where it's the final minute of the game and you're over here sweating it.
Yeah, there were throws of the 3rd quarter where this team could have run away with this game, Mac. Do you have a limiting factor right now?
Talking about the Bears offensively, I think there is a disconnect with the wide receivers not named Rome Odunze. There's the issue for me. When you look at the talent, they have talent there. I still love DJ Moore. He's a very versatile player. You look at Luther Burden, who's really surfaced here or there. You got 3 outstanding wide receivers, in my opinion, when you factor in Rome Odunze. But something is off in terms of the volume. Rome
did out 13-16, went to overtime, got Mariota 20 of 30, 213 yards, 49 rush yards, and then Tua 14 of 20, 171 yards. Not a whole lot of yards through the air in this one. All right, back here on the desk with our guys. Let's talk about the main takeaway from this game. And I think it was really that the running games couldn't get going. What do you think, Ran?
No, the running games got going. You look at what Miami was able to do. They ran for 169 yards on the ground today. Devon Achane went over 100. I think he had 120 yards, his 2nd straight 100-yard game. And the one thing I noticed that Miami did a really good job was they got in their heavy personnel. They brought in their extra offensive lineman, Daniel Brunskill, and they particularly attacked Washington on the edges, particularly particularly to the right. And so they were able to capture those edges and hit those runs, and it was just explosive all day.
Yeah, and I want to give some love to Tua. I mean, we have spent a lot of time tearing him down. I am speaking French. I am saying we, because we all have. This is the one time, Rand Carthon. Listen, Pete Prisco, I know he doesn't love the numbers, 14 for 20, 170 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but the biggest part of that stat line is no interceptions. Tua has started taking care of the football better in the most recent weeks. Again, they've leaned on that run game and Devon Achane, which has paid dividends for this Miami offense. I think it's just important that Tua continues to realize how important it is to take care of the football. The biggest stat that accumulates to wins and losses is the turnover battle. The more he turns the ball over, the more they lose. He's keeping the ball on their offensive side. They're winning games now, so just keep doing what you're doing to him.
They played a nice and safe game. I mean, that's what these teams are doing nowadays. As long as your quarterback throws for 150 yards and doesn't turn it over, every coach in the league's happy. That's the way they love it that way. Nobody throws the ball down the field anymore. It's a dink and a dunk and a dink and a dunk. I mean, that's basically what this league has become. Some of the all-time leaders in completion percentage for a season are happening right now. Think about that. Over the course of history, right now, because nobody throws the ball down the field. The Dolphins were Exhibit A, and they got one because they got away with a bunch of mistakes. Coaching malpractice 101 at the end of that game.
Coaching malpractice 101, but yes, the passing game struggled a little bit, but to your point, the run game was doing pretty well. And who else is doing pretty well? Let's welcome in now our girl, Haley Sutton, who is live.
Hola, I should say hola, amigos. I should be practicing my Espanol.
Oh, well, yeah, well, she has been practicing on Duolingo, so she is quite fluent at this point in Spanish. But Haley, what can you tell us about just the overall atmosphere in Madrid leading up to this game?
Yeah, Katie, the atmosphere here has been electric all week. Of course, I landed on Thursday, and the weather has been really dreary, just kind of cold, really rainy, and it has not stopped fans from being out in droves here. I mean, it was pouring rain in the Plaza Mayor where they celebrated and set up all the Dolphins games and whatnot, and there were people everywhere. Of course, the Commanders represented really well, too. So really just an exciting game for fans here in Madrid. I know a lot of times we don't love the word overtime in the NFL or really in sports in general, but all of the fans here, over 70,000 of them, were excited when this one went to extra time. So really just an appreciation for what the NFL has been able to do, how global it's been able to spread. It's really been good vibes out here.
Good vibes out there. We're so excited that you were there to witness all of that, especially as a big soccer fan yourself. I'm sure it was incredible to be in the building. Let's talk about this Dolphins team, Pete. They're not your favorite team, right, in the entire NFL, but they have improved now to 4-7 with this win. 2 back-to-back wins. Are we seeing something different for the Dolphins?
You know, it's amazing. Mike Daniel might actually be saving his job. And there's some talk that they don't want to fire him. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But the last 2 weeks, particularly last week, might have really saved his job or given him an opportunity to save his job. Having said all that, at the end of the game, Mike, please, what the heck were you doing? You're on the goal line at the end of the game. They have no timeouts left. You can kick a field goal to take the lead in that game, and maybe they have to go get a field goal with no timeouts to tie you. They're not going to beat you. What's he do? He tries to go for it. Then he calls 2 timeouts and gives them an opportunity to have a chance to win a game-winning field goal when they had none. That was awful, but he might be saving his job, having said all that.
Yeah, I mean, it was, for me, it's them getting their momentum going, this Dolphins football team. And we all knew they had explosive playmakers, and that was the one thing for a team that had been struggling. All you needed to do is find a way to get your offensive playmakers going and create those explosives, and then we know that the opportunity to win football games will come, and I think that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I would agree. And as much of a circus as it's been listening to Tua talk in the media, call out his teammates about not being at players-only meetings, being late, so on and so forth, it seems like the players, the team, they're taking accountability. I don't know if they listen directly to Tua or if there's a new message from Mike McDaniels, but there just seems to be more buy-in. You talk about getting the run game going. Like, I've been wondering all year, when is Devon Achane finally going to be unleashed? Well, that's starting to happen. Again, Tua not turning the ball over. Defensively, you're playing better. You only give up 13 points. Again, I know it's Marcus Mariota. The Commanders haven't done that much on offense this year. But again, there are signs that they're taking the right steps, and I think that if you're reeling, if you've had your back against the wall, that's just what you want. You want to see steps towards improvement, and that's what they're doing. As a
Devon Achane fantasy manager, I have also
right.
This has been very good for me. Let's take a look at the Dolphins' next few games on the schedule to see what they are up against here. And here it comes. Right, you got the Saints, the Jets, the Steelers, and the Bengals. Now, Haley, you went to the press conference for Tua and for Jack Jones. Do they have any wins here? What's the overall vibe?
The vibes are really, really high. Obviously, Jack Jones getting that interception, I feel like he took an entire lap around the Bernabeu celebrating. But post-game, he said, look, we've always played with this confidence. And I wrote it down specifically. He said, we play with a swag and an effort mentality.